So, you've been thinking about starting a YouTube channel, but you're lacking ideas, inspiration, strategy. I can relate. That's me. I've been thinking about doing this since a very long time, but I was stuck in research phase, and they call it analysis paralysis. Something that really helps me get unstuck is looking for the right tools for the job. I admit it, I spend way too much time looking for tools. The hope is that eventually those tools will make me faster somehow, and that feeling somehow helps me get started. I am Giorgio, I'm a software engineer by trade. I really like trying out new things, and the whole idea behind this video, and hopefully the whole channel, is trying out tools, AI tools or not, as long as they are useful, that either help you get started on YouTube, like me, or if you're already doing this, they possibly help you scale up. Now, for this very first video, I decided to share a couple of tools I really like, which I used to make this video itself. Gemini Deep Research and NotebookLM. Let's take a look. Now, Gemini Deep Research is a special mode of Gemini, and Gemini, if you're familiar with ChatGPT, is just Google's version of it. Now, the way Deep Research works is pretty simple. You give it a prompt, and from that prompt, Gemini will compute a research plan. It will then use the research plan to go and crawl through the Google search index and find all possible relevant sources for your initial prompt. Based on those sources, it will produce a report, which you can then read, print, export to Google Docs. So from your initial basic idea, you can get a analyst-level kind of report in minutes, which is pretty cool, right? And if you've never tried it out, go and generate at least one report. However, heads up, if you're on the free plan, you only get 5 reports per month. So if you want to get the maximum value out of it, you probably want to couple Deep Research with the next tool we're going to look at, which is NotebookLM. Now, the core strength of NotebookLM is that it will only use the sources you provide in input to generate answers. Sources can be many things. It can be some plain text that you copy and paste into it. It can be some links to some websites. It can be YouTube videos, or it could be a document from Google Docs. Now, let's say you got a vague idea of what you'd like to brainstorm and fine-tune. Let's say you want to improve your idea for your next video. And this is what you can do. Write a quick draft. Just a couple of sentences about your next video could be the script. Paste that into a new NotebookLM. Then you get additional sources. Could be a blog post, article, maybe a previous YouTube video of yours. And then ask NotebookLM, can you please write a deep research prompt with any information you are lacking about this video? Copy that prompt, paste it into Deep Research, let it go wild. And finally, you can feed the results back into NotebookLM, where you can add your report as a Google Docs source. And now, with the help of AI, while staying true to your original content, you can brainstorm, refine, and outline your next video. Now let me show you how I use this exact combination to make the video you're watching. So here is a new NotebookLM where I pasted my script. This is just the starting point of my script. And you can see a summary generated by the AI. Now I'm prompting NotebookLM to generate a deep research prompt to get some additional information and ideas to get started with my YouTube channel. This prompt by NotebookLM is now based on the source I provided initially. You see how I didn't have to provide any additional prompting at all. I will now copy and paste into Gemini the generated prompt. I enable Deep Research and now paste the generated prompt. Now, before it goes and starts searching, it will generate a so-called research plan. These are all the steps Gemini is going to take when going through the Google search index to create my report. I can edit the plan with natural text, or in this case, we are just going to start the research. Now, this is going to take a few minutes. You can imagine it needs to go and look through quite some websites, but literally, this would have taken me days, if not weeks, to do manually. So I think a 5 minutes wait is well worth it. First, the model is thinking, so it is using the research plan to decide which website it's going to look through. You can see these are all the websites it's researched. You can even decide to now open some sources, read through them, and maybe copy them back into your NotebookLM as a source. For example, it decided to go and use an official YouTube source. YouTube videos can also be used as an input in NotebookLM. Now here is the report generated by Deep Research. I recommend you read through all of it. You will definitely find some very interesting sources that have taken you ages to find the same by yourself on Google, and I'm sure you'll get some new ideas. Now, very interestingly, I can export this to a Google Doc, both so that I do not lose it, so that I can edit it and share it with others, but also so that I can share it with NotebookLM. So we'll now go back to it. See, I've already added some of those sources we mentioned before, and now select Google Drive and select the Deep Research report as a source. Just as a bonus, as we're now doing a brainstorming, I'll show you just one of myriad of features from NotebookLM. We now generate a mind map. I find this to be very valuable as we need to get a bird's eye view of the content we are looking at, the sources we are looking at. It's just going to take a few seconds. And here is our mind map. This is entirely based on your initial prompt, a very basic idea that you want to brainstorm. You can then click on any item and go and discuss it further in your chat. Just keep in mind, this chat is ephemeral. Anything particularly interesting that comes out of it, you will want to save it as a note. A note is just something that you're keeping for future reference, and if you want that note to also be taken into account for future questions in your chat, you want to also convert a note into a source. And finally, I will ask NotebookLM to generate a rough outline for this first video based on everything we have seen so far. So if you enjoy discovering practical tools and tips to grow your channel if you already have one, or start one if you're like me, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, please comment, let me know what worked, what didn't work, what you liked or did not like, and I'll do my best to improve. Also, if there are any other tools you'd like me to explore, drop the name in the comments, I'll give them a shot. Thank you, see you next time.